Yeah, the APD's been talking about increased response time for a very long time. Too long, as a matter of fact. And following Friday's fatal stabbing attack by a homeless man, police responded 20 minutes later. Now, let's clarify what that means. They got a phone call to 911 about 7:50 about a crazed man yelling and shouting and yelling at people and that sort of thing. Well, that's not a priority call in the city of Austin that's hobo-friendly.
No, that's called a weekday.
Now, it was a few minutes later is when he attacked the elderly man, and that's when the calls went back to 911, and that's when the police stepped it up, if you will.
Yeah.
Police Association President Ken Cassidy tells CBS Austin there are not enough officers on patrol where they need them the most.
Not unusual to have, anywhere between 5 and 8 people on a day shift in a certain area of the city, which is absolutely not adequate for the size of our city.
No doubt. Cassidy says APD has started the new year off with 180 officers short. The average response time has climbed to nearly a full minute since 2015.
Yeah.
Don't forget, we got the cadet class that's going to be on pause, on hold, because the city council's concerned about some things. So there we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's this situation on Friday when they just got their call that, we got a crazy homeless guy that's threatening to throw a rock at us or whatever. Yeah, the police, that's nothing new. That's nothing unusual for them. But when it escalated and I guess they called again, it still took them a while to get there, and that was downtown. That demonstrated the challenges that they have. They can't even make a response time in under whatever it was that it took them at that point, 10 minutes or whatever, and they're downtown. It took them. That was really demonstrated the problem.
You're insinuating that more cops are downtown. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, you would think
because
there would be.
The city's big and crime happens all over the city.
Yeah, I know, but you're
so you got people spread out all over the city.
I know, but it would just, given everything going on in our city, and especially the amount of homeless people that we do have downtown, you would think that
that's
there
not
would be more.
Homeless people are not a priority for the police department on the orders of the mayor and Greg Casar.
Right.
So it's not a priority.
I understand.
There's nothing the police can do.
Well, bottom line, and I'm not blaming the police, since we have a city council that does not support the police, they're in a position where it took them that long to get to this scene that turned out to be a murder.
Because shouting and yelling at customers is not a crime in this city. Being loud and weird is not crime in this city.
No, in fact,
it didn't become a crime until he assaulted the elderly man inside that coffee shop.
Right.
Governor Greg Abbott and the mayor have been in a Twitter war on this issue for quite a while now, and the governor was asked a few questions about it just yesterday.
Governor, online you connected the stabbing attack in Austin to the policies of the city council. What do you say to folks who say that that's not fair to do and that this is a freak action or a freak crime?
What Austin has done over the past half year is to perpetuate a sense of lawlessness in the city by the homeless. They have removed seemingly any legal consequences to the actions of where the homeless lie, sleep, where they defecate, with regard to the use of needles, with regard to any potential crimes. We see an escalation of physical attacks on people with an inadequate response by the city of Austin, by law enforcement, to make sure that these people are going to be accountable to these crimes. As a result of the escalation of these attacks, just as one example of what would literally be hundreds, the attack that we know about on the bridge that took place, where multiple people were physically assaulted, where a person was eventually arrested, but released in just, I think, 2 weeks after that. It shows that there has been an elevation and an increase in the number of people who are physically assaulted, and an attitude by the city of Austin that seems to be one where they care more about the homeless individual committing the crime as opposed to the victims of these crimes. And it's time for the city of Austin to step up and start enforcing the law and putting the public safety of the people in Austin first, so that nobody else is going to lose their life because of these modified rules that have been adopted by the city of Austin.
Last question, John Moritz.
There you go. That's Governor Greg Abbott at a press conference yesterday at the Capitol.
Somebody tagged me yesterday in a post that they put on Facebook of a homeless person taking a leak right next to their car at an intersection. So that was nice. The governor is spot on right here that the priorities are so screwed up. Yeah, it seems that our city does care more about the homeless, protecting them versus versus just us regular residents and taxpayers. And, the governor points out that the fact that our mayor is saying you cannot blame this on our camping ordinance or our lack of camping ordinance or whatever lack of homeless ordinances. You can't blame it on it. It has everything to do with that. That guy, that nut on Friday, who is now deceased after he jumped headfirst off of the top of a building after he stabbed somebody to death, was not from here. It was highly likely that he would not have come here had we not been so friendly, so welcoming of the homeless, and sleep wherever the hell you want to sleep. That brings people.
I want to point out,
sleep wherever you want to sleep. That brings people here.
I want to point out one other thing. The way that the city is handling this issue makes all of us very resentful towards this homeless community.
Yes, it does.
We're angry at that man.
Yeah.
And I want everybody just to pause for a minute. He was sick. These are mentally ill people.
Very.
I mean, we should have some compassion, right? For these people that are mentally ill sleeping on our streets.
I'm trying.
You wouldn't allow a bunch of cancer patients to sleep under bridges, would you?
I'm trying.
The mayor would, right?
Yeah.
So the mayor is putting these homeless people in this situation now.
Yes.
The ones that are mentally ill. I'm
Right.
not talking about the ones that have decided to be deadbeats and check out. I'm talking about that percentage of about 60%, 70% that are suffering from some sort of mental health issue.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mayor.
Mm-hmm. The mayor doesn't know it. Well, maybe he does.
Along the path, this guy created. He victimized many people. Has an incredibly long rap sheet, just like that mentally ill drifter that killed Haruka Weiser. Somewhere along the way, a judge, a family member should have done a whole lot more to keep them safe, keep them personally safe, and keep the rest of the community safe.
He's done the homeless community no favors here.
The sad thing is, there's not a whole lot of resources out there for a family that has a teenager that's dealing with the mental health crisis.
No, there's not.
It's very expensive and very hard to find help.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we need to start first.
And a lot of people, unfortunately, want to just look the other way and not deal with you. Yeah, absolutely right.
It's kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah. Yes.
When someone's mentally ill, we don't hire them.
No.
We don't house them. We don't keep them locked up in a hospital. We throw them out on the streets and just kind of wait until they commit a crime against us. Then we lock them up for a few days. Then we throw them back out on the streets.
Well, and we throw them out on the streets, and we don't even want to make eye contact with them for fear that they're going to ask us for something or just create an awkward, uncomfortable situation. It certainly changed my attitude. I feel it, and it's unfortunate.
I'm a firm believer. And I know this is extreme, and nobody agrees with me. I think we should actively round up the ones that are monster shouters. They wake up every day screaming at the monster in their head. They don't know where they are. They can't make a decision at all.
They don't know that their decision is that their situation is bad.
They don't know who they are or where they are.
No.
Those are the ones we should go get and hospitalize them.
Absolutely.
Those are the ones that commit some of the violent crimes against people.
No, we literally need to round them up. And maybe that sounds inhumane, like we're rounding up dogs, but that's what we need to do.
Let's say it a different way. Let's go rescue them.
Okay. I can live with that.
Susan at 4 Points. Good morning.
Or round up. Hey.
Yes. Hey, good morning.
Hi.
Hey, I just wanted to say that until, I guess, the economic downturn of downtown happens, this will continue because nobody wants to go downtown anymore. My family has a family member that lives downtown, and if we go downtown once or twice a year, that's a big deal.
Uh-huh.
I'm fearful. I don't even want to walk on the streets after the one person that you had on the other day that was in the real estate business and the man that followed her around. I don't even want to go downtown anymore.
Well, so here's the real thing, Susan, and this may sound mean, but the city council really doesn't want you downtown because you live up in the 4 Points area. You may have to drive into the city to get there. They really don't want you there.
Yeah, you're the enemy.
Yeah.
Well,
and let me guess, Susan, you probably live in a single family home too.
How'd you guess?
See, you are the enemy.
Because you just have that air about you.
You are the enemy of this city council. 9:25.
You could tell she did.
Yeah. Looks like Mike is calling in from Florida. Let me take that call, Alyssa. She's still talking with him. Okay, that's fine. Hey, we got the top stories coming up in just 5 minutes here on the Todd Don Show. We'd love to hear from you at 512-836-0590. Thurston Howell, he's going to be in town Saturday.
Thurston Howell?
Yeah, Thurston Howell's going to be here Saturday.
Will Lovey be with him?
Yeah. I don't know. I don't think I've ever seen his Lovey.
Explain.
But Thurston Howell will be kicking off the National Day of Action to motivate staff and volunteers nationwide. This includes a bus and a bus tour and visit through the Lone Star State. Coming up Saturday the 11th. Oh, by the way, he wants to be your president. He's running for president. Yeah, they're going to stop in San Antonio, then they're going to stop in Austin, then they're scheduled to end the day in Dallas.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, Thurston Howell.
The third.
Former mayor of New York.
Yes.
Mr. Michael Bloomberg.
Actually, this would be Thurston Howell the fourth.
He wants to be your president.
He does. Can you feel the excitement that he's coming to town? Can you? It's palpable.
Oh, the energy.
Yeah, we should have him on.
The energy is so thick.
Alyssa, reach out. We should have him on.
512-836-0590.
The Todd and Don Show.
Back to the phones, and Pete is checking in from Round Rock, Texas. Hey, Pete.
Hey, Pete.
Hey, guys.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind?
About the actions with Donald Trump and Iran, I don't really agree with all this situation, what he did with Soleimani. As I've heard and as I've understood correctly, the Pentagon presented to him options about how to deal with Soleimani, and he chose the most extreme one, which is to shoot him down. Now, our allies already have begun saying that Trump's actions are it wasn't the right way to pursue this action. He commits war crimes. This is what they're saying.
What do you think, Pete?
Well, I think diplomacy was to be the first thing to do.
No. Diplomacy hasn't worked in 40 years.
They can't spell diplomacy.
They shot down a drone. They've been taking cargo containers in the Strait of Hormuz. They blew up a portion of the Saudi oil field, 5% of the world's oil supply chain. They've been threatening to annihilate Israel for years. They took 52 Americans hostages years ago. And you say diplomacy.
Well, unfortunately, the whole thing began while he destroyed the agreement between Obama and Iran when they used to have that agreement about the nuclear issues. This is when things start escalating.
Because the nuclear deal did not prevent Iran from getting a nuclear weapon. In fact, it cleared the way for them to get a nuclear weapon in the year 2028. That will not happen with Donald Trump in office.
In the year 2028, you're saying? Because the nuclear deal will expire by then.
Right.
So we can negotiate another one.
All right. So just keep negotiating. Keep negotiating with terrorist killers that continue to attack us and our friends.
Sir, I will take anything but war. Yeah. I will negotiate if I can avoid war.
Then tell your friends in Iran to back the hell off and stop killing our people and our friends. I don't know.
Friends in Iran?
Well, I mean, that's the way it sounds. It sounds like you're very friendly.
I'm not sound friendly. I'm trying to avoid a war. Do you understand me?
I don't think you need to worry about war.
No, you don't have to worry about that. There's not going to be a World War III. There's not going to be a World War III.
It's going to be okay.
Yeah, you're going to be all right.
Yesterday, I just read an article talking about how Iran can fight the United States, and this is how I'm getting more worried about. Homeland Security just released some information saying that Iran has been prepared for a long time for an escalation like that.
Yeah.
And their cyber warfare has gone to a level where they can shut down our water grid, our bank systems, and stuff like that. They can create a chaos.
Pete.
So Iran is not something, yes.
No, here's the thing. Iran is not, they're not the C team. They do have a military. They're not as powerful as us by any means whatsoever.
No, they would lose.
But seriously, Pete, you need to get a different perspective because it sounds like you've been watching CNN and MSNBC all night.
No, I'm not watching any of this news, sir.
Okay. Where are you from, Pete?
None of these.
Where are you from, Pete?
I'm from Greece.
From Greece. And listen, you're over there a little closer to the action. I understand your fear. You know, there's been a lot of fighting in the Middle East for decades, thousands and thousands of years. So I understand if you're from that area, you may feel that this is just an escalation. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen on this president's watch.
Soleimani had some very, very bad plans for us.
He was planning to kill diplomats and hit our targets.
He needed to be removed, and believe me, Pete, you're safer. You're better off now than you were last week.
Yeah.
Okay, guys.
So Pete,
All right.
so should Trump just sit back and wait for Salami to attack those diplomats and those targets he was planning to hit?
I don't think he had the gut to do it. That's my perspective. I mean, that's a big statement right there.
Well, listen, I'll tell you this. Salami and his motorcade did not travel to Baghdad for peace talks.
No.
Jenny and Ron Rock, good morning.
It's going to be okay, Pete. Hey,
Good
Jenny.
morning, gentlemen. How are you?
Fine. Thank you for asking that.
Goodness gracious. All I can say is for the love of Pete. This guy. Pete, listen to me, brother. I hope you listen to the show every day because yesterday there was a gentleman that called in, a retired serviceman, who lost, I believe it was either 5 or 7 friends on this guy's watch, Salami's watch, okay? What would you rather have Trump done? Invited him to tea? Invite him over here to talk to us about the man was a terrorist. And I really would love to hear Pete's definition of what a terrorist is and what a terrorist deserves.
Yeah. Pete would be okay. Pete would be okay with parking a pallet of cash on the loading dock in Iran.
I think that would be his preference.
And maybe just kind of pay him off. He'd rather just pay him off.
Can't we all just get along?
Pete, you sweet, sweet man.
Yeah.
You know, this is 2020. Times have changed. And, you know, just because some other country may be a global powerhouse, if you want to say that, you know, with their military or whatever, we don't back down. And this person deserved what they got, and Trump had the guts to get it done. And there are people out there like me. I'm driving to work right now. I just dropped my 2 children off, and I feel safer knowing that he is in the White House making those decisions to drive this country to be the best it can be.
Jenny and Ron Rock, thank you. Appreciate that. Let's see Scott checking in from Dripping Springs this morning. Hey, Scott.
Hey.
Yeah.
This dude from Greece.
Yes.
What kind of idiot is he? Negotiate with Iran.
Yeah.
You know, I went to the Marine Corps when they took the hostages, and Iran hasn't stopped since. This Salami guy should have been killed a long time ago, and I say we send the Ayatollah a cruise missile.
Here's the thing. We gave them a pallet of cash, $1.8 billion to get them to calm down. We got our Navy sailors off of that ship that they took for a couple of days. Remember the picture of the sailors on their knees with their hands over their head? Remember that?
Yeah.
That was like a punch in the gut. And then
sure
the next
was.
day, the president, Obama, parks a pallet of cash on the loading docks there for him to calm down and back off. Apparently, they've run out of money. Is it likely? I don't know this for sure. I don't know if I'm just speculating here. Did they use some of that Obama cash to pay some of their proxy wars to kill Americans in other places like Syria, Iraq, Baghdad, and on and on and on?
Good question.
Is it possible that they used that cash to pay their proxy soldiers to take out some Americans? Maybe I'm speculating there.
Their priorities for money would be a lot different than we thought what they were going to do, that's for sure. They were going to do more than would just pay off some credit cards.
Just a few minutes ago, U.S. Representative Liz Cheney, the Republican from Wyoming, on Fox.
He has said we're going to have a maximum pressure campaign on the Iranians, and we will not tolerate the Iranian activity the way that they have been pursuing it in the past. I think they understand we're serious, and I think that the president was absolutely right in taking the action that he took against Qasem Soleimani.
Hey, listen, the orders are pretty simple. Stop trying to kill us, stop trying to kill our friends, and stop trying to pursue a nuclear weapon.
Speaker Pelosi has proven herself time and time again to be completely and totally lacking in any seriousness.
Yeah, there you go. 7:25 here on the Todd Don Show.
I think right now in the climate we're in, as far as left versus right and all that, and the separation there, it wouldn't matter what terrorist he targeted right now and took care of. It could be Saddam Hussein, and they would have a problem with it right now. They would see the bad in that.
I don't remember anybody talking about a rise in Al-Qaeda after the death of bin Laden.
No.
I don't remember anybody talking about that.
No, and they would have a problem. I promise you, if it had been bin Laden today, they would say that was a bad move.
You know who wants war?
Yeah.
The Democrat political candidates.
They sure do.
That may be the only way they can beat Trump.
And
if we do get into some sort of messy altercation. Yes. Chad, real quick in Austin. Good morning, Chad.
I think they're praying for it. Hey, Chad.
Yes, sir.
Pete and repeat, we're sitting on a fence. Pete fell off. Who was left?
Yes.
Repeat. Pete just wants to repeat over and over what's been going on for years over there. Finally, somebody did something.
Yeah. Thank you, Chad. Appreciate it.
The Todd and Don Show.
The best and the most bizarre from day one at CES, the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas, in full swing. And as usual, the event featured the best and the brightest and the most bizarre technology that's out there. Here are three trends that we noticed on day one. The car culture is still in the fast lane. The cars of the future may not, look like Mom's Mazda or Don Pryor's Buick, but judging from yesterday's hype, car culture is not going away anytime soon. Electric cars were everywhere. Established automakers like Audi, Mercedes-Benz, they showed off their new designs. Less established companies like Fisker and Faraday and Byton, they also had vehicles there as well. Even Sony made a car.
Yeah.
A shocking reminder of the future automaking is wide open. Japanese electronics giant Vision S raised a lot of questions. Sony didn't make it clear if it plans to put the the car in production or not, but they just showed off that they could.
Here's what we might do.
An Avatar-inspired car from Mercedes-Benz was a glowing blue symbol of self-driving hype. Yeah, the scale-covered steering, wheelless vision, AVTR, advanced vehicle transformation ride recognizes the driver's pulse and breath and moves sideways like a crab when necessary. But there are no plans of putting this glowing beast into production just yet. But they did want to show off some of their technology. Now, also, fancy in-car entertainment systems were a good reminder that self-driving cars were also going to be ushered in the new era where cars are not just vehicles, but they're also mobile entertainment centers that have giant screens, a myriad of infotainment features in a partnership with AccuWeather, Amazon. Biden's vehicle comes with a 48-inch television screen.
Good God. That's wow.
Someday we're going to look at cars
the
way we look at cell phones today. You know what I mean? It's kind of making a phone call is on the low end of what that cell phone can really do.
Right.
Driving you from point A to point B in the future. That'll be on the low end of what a car can do in the future.
Oh yeah. It'll drive you there too.
Now, for better or worse, everything is connected now. Technology improvements have made it possible for almost anything to be connected to the internet. But while some smart objects can be wonderful, there's some out there that are a little strange. How about this? A razor that's AI-powered and Bluetooth. It's called Next Big Thing. How about a toothbrush that maps your mouth?
Okay. What do you need to know, I wonder?
Well, I mean, you see, we got your cavities, things like that.
Whatever does that, yeah.
Toilet paper dispenser that delivers toilet paper via the app.
I see.
So you pull out your phone as you're sitting there.
Don't have to touch it. Just throws itself out there.
Give me 4 squares.
Does it water fold? That's what I want to know. Does it water fold?
You would think at this point that dispenser would do the wiping for you.
Exactly.
A trash can that ties its own garbage.
Uh-huh.
Now, that's kind of cool. How about a bath mat that weighs you and tracks your health?
No.
How about a pillow that analyzes your snoring patterns called Motion Pillow 2?
Oh, good God.
How about this?
Break it.
This is what we need. And if my wife had it, she'd have 10. A fake kitten that purrs and has no head.
Headless kitten. Finally, someone made the headless kitten.
How about this? A ball that just rolls around after you.
It's Alexa.
It comes back to you. You kick it, and it comes back to you.
Uh-huh.
You could be the only guy on the kickball team and win.
That's right. That's right. I wonder if it's the same thing I saw, which is Alexa, which is in ball form, and it just rolls around. It just wherever you go.
Alexa is everywhere. We talked about that yesterday. Alexa is everywhere.
They have an Alexa shower head.
Now, how about
they're
this?
Showing.
Now, for years, flexible screens have been treated like the holy grail for electronic companies, and whether or not people actually want them, the Flexi TV screens have arrived.
Okay.
Intel unveiled their Horseshoe Bend, a foldable tablet. Royal Mirage created the smarter speaker with a wraparound screen. TCL also unveiled a foldable tablet. Lenovo, they have a ThinkPad that folds. And Dell created Ori, O-R-I, which is, you guessed it, a foldable tablet.
Yeah. It sounds like what you're going to see is probably a lot of stuff that's very practical, and we'll see it produced in the future. And a lot of stuff that is just because for fun. Probably they built it because they can. They built it, they're showing the technology because they can. It can be done. Doesn't mean you need it. Like, again, that Alexa that can follow you anywhere you go in the house, and it just rolls around in case you got to request anything. It's right there for you. So I have a feeling that's just kind of something that's like, wow, that's cool. They can really do that. But do you need it? Nah, not at all. Yeah. But a lot of stuff.
You're only into things you need.
Well, I have to be honest with you. That is my thing. If I usually anything I buy, I use it. I'm going to use it, and I'm going to use it for years. There aren't many examples of anything that I buy that I don't use, except a guitar. There's a guitar sitting in the corner of our living room that I have never learned how to play.
Well, I thought it was a very lovely story, and you tell it so well.
Just
Such enthusiasm.
It is 5:53 here on the Todd Don Show.
Anywho.
The former commander of U.S. forces in Afghanistan says the United States and Iran now have an opportunity to avoid an escalation of military strikes. This is a window of de-escalation as we speak. Those rockets didn't hit anything. Nobody injured, nobody killed. But they did get a chance to go back to the Iranian State News Agency and say that they killed 30 Americans.
30 is the number they came up with.
But they killed none.
Wonder why not 20? Why not 40? 30.
Admiral James Starvis, he says it's very significant that no U.S. personnel were injured in that Iranian missile strike on U.S. bases in Iraq. Here he is.
My sense is the Iranians launched big, relatively dumb cruise missiles. These are not precision guided. They didn't zone in to go after the mess hall right at dinner. This was the minimum they could do. And therefore, I think we kind of are at last exit before the tunnel on this round. But as both David and my good friend Richard have said, the longer term process here has got to resolve this lingering bitterness and hatred between the United States and Iran. So here's what I'm hoping and watching for. That the Iranians do not take another bite at the apple. I don't think they will, but watch the Arabian Gulf, watch our ships at sea.
I think those Iranian officials, they said, oh, man. Oh my God, Trump is serious. We're not dealing with Obama.
Right.
He's serious.
Yeah, this is the big leagues here.
When he says he's going to punch you back, he's serious. They're no longer weak. Trump said, I have a feeling that's what they said, and they had to create some sort of diversion to show their people that they were standing up strong to Trump.
Sure.
And now they're realizing, oh, gosh, let's give everybody an opportunity out.
They took some piece of crap missiles, and it sounds like they just kind of pointed them in the direction of these bases and just hoped for the best.
512-836-0590, the top stories straight ahead.
The Todd and Don Show.